In my original Superstars video, I basically said that that video could stand on its own as like a one and done statement on the game, that all the major things I took issue with were already said in that, and that even though stuff might be in the game, I wouldn't necessarily need to speak on it in the future. And I still stand by that. That video works on its own, you can watch that and get my general thoughts on Superstars. Nothing's changed there. That said, the game's out now, it has been for a couple weeks, and I do have a couple thoughts on things that weren't present before for me to properly critique or give thoughts on in the video, so that's what we're doing today. Unscripted, as you might be able to glean. I don't know. I don't know if there's any kind of hints that properly give it away. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to do this unscripted because, firstly, it helps differentiate the video. You know, makes it clear this is a little bonus addendum bit rather than a whole nother, like, tightly woven video. And, that's really it. I think it just helps differentiate it. You know, I thought, hey, if I'm making a little bonus addendum bit, let's spice things up. Yeah. That's a Skylanders reference, which is a way more charming game than Superstars. You should play Skylanders instead. Trap Team specifically, that's the one I referenced. Although I can't actually necessarily recommend that, because Trap Team I haven't played that since, like, 2015. I intend to, but it costs 70 fucking quid on eBay, so... Anyway, yeah, hello, welcome to the Superstars Addendum. Do you remember how in my video, how I said, or I basically I gave off the impression that, at the absolute worst, the game would be fine. Nothing special, nothing that really is special. I can see why I usually script these things now. But basically, that's what the game is. The game is fine. That's the words I've been consistently using to describe it for the past couple weeks. It's fine. It's not good, it's not bad, it's the most 5 out of 10 game to ever exist, I think. Like, the graphics, they're fine. The 3D models, they do the job. The controls are actually pretty good. They got the controls right. The level design isn't quite there, it's not quite Mania standard, but it's fine. The music is fine. It's all fine. It's just fine. But the thing that really killed it for me is because it's just fine. It's not special. It's not stand out. It's not got that something to it. Like Mania, which of course I'm gonna compare, it was the last classic Sonic game, and it fucking nailed classic Sonic in music, aesthetics, visuals, pixel art. It was classic Sonic perfected as far as I'm concerned. But Mania, you know how, like, that oozed personality and love for Sonic in every fucking pixel of that game. You could feel the passion gone into it. There was, like, fucking whimsy and surprise and cool new ideas around every corner, and it was like you had no idea what to expect, but no matter what showed up, it felt so inherently at its core Sonic-y. That is not Superstars. You are not getting that fucking masterful Sonicness here. It's either the most rehashed fucking ideas we've ever seen in this franchise. I swear a lot, by the way. That's why I write scripts, to try and reduce my fuck this, fuck that, can't. Or it's just very generic, like, Mario tier fucking level themes with none of that Sonic spice to spice it up. I've written bland here in my notes, and I think that's very summy-uppy. Again, it's not bad. None of the level themes and whatnot, none of it's bad. It's just very, very bland and uninspired and generic. No one's opinion is wrong, of course. If you think it was great and you think it outclassed Mania in every single way, no one's opinion is wrong. I've seen a lot of people now retroactively calling Mania a lightning in a bottle moment, and fucking yeah, we're never getting anything like that again. And that's a real shame. Mania was something special. We all knew it at the time, but we thought that team and that quality would at least maintain for classic Sonic. 3D Sonic, fucking obviously not. But evidently, we're never getting that lightning in that bottle again, and that really sucks. Now, I was very, very harsh towards this game initially on Twitter when I first played it. I've toned down a little bit since then, but my basic sentiment still stands. Even this ranking that I posted, ultimately I think I still stand by it, because Sonic 1 and CD are my least favourite of the classics, and you could make an argument for how Superstars outclasses those two. However, Sonic 1 was the first in the series, so it kind of gets a pass for being a little rougher around the edges, because they didn't know what they were doing at that point, what Sonic was. And CD at least was trying out some new experimental shit. You had the time travel, you had the more exploration focus, that at least had new Metal Sonic and Amy show up in that. That had some very Sonic-y ideas in there. Superstars lacks those two elements, I think, and as a result, I would so much sooner replay those two games. Yeah. However, the brunt of my frustration came down to the price tag. I paid 60 fucking quid for this, and that is an insult. Like, Frontiers, I go a bit back and forth on if that was truly worth the money, but in my video I made a good case for why I think it is, and I've put almost 100 hours into the game at the time of recording this, so I do think I got my money's worth. I have some real fun with Frontiers, and it's got a lot to do in it. I'm kind of okay with that. This, though, I've played 7 hours of it, never touching it again. It's a fucking insult that they charge 60 quid for that, or $60 if you're a non-British America. I script these things usually. I don't have a lot of practice, just off the cuff. Yeah, the price tag is fucking ludicrous. For 20 quid or $20, for $20 you can get Mania. For less than $20 you can get Mania, because it goes on sale all the time. And for 3 times that amount you can get something that is significantly worse than Mania. And that kind of says it all, really. That says a lot in both the company's attitude, in how much they value this kind of stuff, in how much they are willing to fuck you over as a consumer. Fuck Sega. Man, fuck Sega. Fuck that company. Basically, if you take nothing else away from this video, please take away, don't buy Sonic Superstars for 60. Don't even buy it at 30. Wait until it's 20 at the absolute fucking maximum. Maybe 25, I suppose 30 if you're really wanting to push it, but I'd say 20 or less, yeah. And that probably extends to future outings, unless it's something big with a lot of content like Frontiers. For the inevitable Frontiers sequel, I imagine that'll justify a $60 price tag, but for like a fucking racing spin-off that's probably coming out soon, it's been a while since TSR, people want riders back, that'll probably get a fucking remake or something. For games like that, if you see them trying to take the piss and charge like $60 for that, don't fucking buy it, man. It doesn't matter what pre-order shit they put in there at this point, modders will put that in. Fucking don't give them their money, man. I'm getting real sick of this because I fell for it with Colors, because I had a lot of nostalgia for Colors. I played Colors as a child and I was like, oh, I want to buy Colors again to re-experience my childhood. There's no way they'll fuck that up, right? And then Origins, same thing. I thought, oh, it's the classic games, I want to play those. There's no way they'll fuck that up, right? And now Superstars. Oh, it's a new classic outing. There's no way it will be the most forgettable game in the franchise, right? So yeah, put Sonic games on your Christmas list or something. Get someone else to buy them, and don't pay the initial higher fee. Wait until it goes on sale. I'm getting somewhat done with this franchise and its little corporate tactics. Not done with the I still love Sonic, I'll still talk about whatever's coming out. But in terms of their fucking sneaky little marketing tactics and their fucking desperate attempts to appeal to fans and whatnot by changing up tones and shit on the fly, I'm getting real fucking sick of it. Can you please pick a direction? Can you please figure out what the fuck Sonic is and build off of that, finally, after 30 years? That'd be fucking lovely. Anyway, got a bit off topic there. That's my general take on the game. It's fine. Like, it's fine. I'm very harsh on it, because I'm very harsh on Sonic. If you kind of turn your brain off, although I hate that term, but you know what I mean. If you kind of just go in looking to play a fun video game, you're gonna have an alright time. I'd recommend a lot of other stuff sooner than it, including Frontiers. I think that's more fun, but, and Mania, obviously, but, you know, it's not bad. You're gonna have some fun. Yeah, little Timmy who gets this for Christmas, probably gonna have a blast. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I will say, I don't think anyone's gonna fucking remember this game in like 5 years. Well, people are gonna remember it, obviously. No one forgets anything Sonic. But in the same way that like Lost World and Sonic 4, discussion about them fucking plummeted off the face of the earth after a couple years, because they're just forgettable enough that there's like nothing to talk about, nothing worth analyzing. I think that's Superstars' fate. I think Superstars is destined to be like, oh yeah, that was that classic game that wasn't Mania. Except Trip. Trip's obviously sticking around for a while, and everyone likes her for good reason. She's cool, she's cute, I like Trip. Ultimately, Superstars is a net positive because it got us Trip in the world, so yeah. Sorry to keep comparing to Mania, but I've just seen my notes, and yeah, I make a point. You know how, like, the bosses in Mania were really fucking unique and, like, brand new Eggman mech? The spider, that spider in Flying Battery, that's a brand new Eggman mech. Clearly not, like, directly inspired by anything before, but oh my god, it feels Eggman. And I have the hard-boiled heavies listed here. No one talks about the hard-boiled heavies, and that's a shame, because they're fucking great. They serve their purpose, they feel so inherently Sonic in a way not much else has managed to since. They're really good. I wish more people talked about them. They're getting those Jax Pacific figures. I don't like the Jax figures. They're really flimsy and shit, but I'll buy the hard-boiled heavies ones. I really like the hard-boiled heavies. Wish they got a bit more love. But I wrote all of this down to illustrate the point that off the top of my head, in Mania you had the Eggman spider thing, you had the ball and chain at the start that's not quite, I mean it starts as the ball and chain I think, but then it turns into that little like spike thing. Press Garden, you had that little like saw blade guy, the heavy shinobi, the heavy, I keep coming back to the hard-boiled heavies, they're really good, man. Anyway, the point is, what do we get in Superstars? We get Eggman in the most like prototypical Eggman shit, like that one crushing robot in Press Factory Act 2, and it's just like, that's exactly what I expect out of an Eggman robot, and fuck all else. It's so boring and so repetitive, and combine that with the fucking Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic in Pinball Carnival. You know, that fucking clown thing that looks like it belongs in Sister Location? It's either shit like that, or a fucking I can't believe it's not the Death Egg robot type dog shit. Also, yeah, I'm getting into spoilers now. This is not structured enough for me to have a spoiler-free and spoiler section. Spoilers now. This is your warning. Leave in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 if you don't want information to be revealed. And I know it's a classic game, you think, what's there to spoil? It's a fucking classic game. But there are some cool moments in there that weren't shown off in any marketing, like this. I kinda touched on it previously, but I just really want to make a point, because this is where I get to the discussion of this in my notes, how nothingy the levels feel. Not in the designs of them, or like the level construction, I suppose. Because they're pretty good as classic levels. They're not as polished as Mania, because there's a couple bits in here where, like, there's a crevice or a little corner or a little path that doesn't lead to enough. It kind of just leads to a dead end, whereas in Mania or other classic games, that probably would have led on to more. So it's not quite as polished as Mania, but it's perfectly good enough. This was way more feeling like classic Sonic than I initially expected it would. I was very satisfied with how classic Sonic-y the levels themselves felt to play through. Their aesthetics and design, kind of, and all the visual aspects and the theming and all that kind of jazz. Oh, that's where it gets baffling in how safe they play this. I've written an amazing quote here in my notes, so I'm just gonna read this quickly. What we have here is this fucking unholy fusion of both super generic level templates combined with Sonic-isms that we've seen so many times. And yeah, I think that sums it up. Speed Jungle. It's just kind of a jungle with some Sonic shit thrown in there. Fucking Sand Sanctuary. It's just a sands location. You got the snake in there, that's cool, but it's just the sands location. There's another Eggman base in outer space in a classic game. That's fucking 3 for 3 now. You've got like a brown coloured Sky Sanctuary, a not quite Sky Sanctuary as I have it written here. Plus they combine that with Windy Valley, I think. I forgot to check if that's what it's called. I think it's Windy Valley. From Adventure, they have that gimmick. But, so when I play it, I'm just thinking this is Sonic 3 combined with Sonic Adventure. Nothing about it is new enough and builds on Sonicisms enough for me to think of it as Superstars. I just think of it as, oh, that's a fusion of those two things from those other games. Cool. And yeah, of course they had to give it the most generic name on the planet. Do you know what this fucking Sky Temple it's called Sky Temple. I was just describing it as a Sky Temple and was then gonna say its name, but it's fucking called Sky Temple. That's on the level of fucking abandoned amusement park from Skylanders Imaginators. And yeah, on that, so many of these names, they suck, man. There's Speed Jungle, Pinball Carnival, Golden Capital, shit that just sounds like two words randomly meshed together with no particular rhyme or Golden Capital, what's capital about it? Golden, I get, because it's fucking gold everywhere, but capital? Eh. Then there's things like Press Factory and Egg Fortress, which, like, don't sound bad, but again, it's like, it just sounds like a copying of the homework of stuff from previous classic Sonic games. Egg Fortress, I swear there's at least like 5 levels named that already. And the best part is there probably isn't. That's probably a brand new name, but it just sounds so fucking derivative of other things in this franchise already that I swear I've heard it before. And oh my god, you will never going to guess what they call the base, the grey metallic base found in Frost is called. You're never gonna guess what they named that. You're never gonna guess. Never gonna guess. What's the first thing that came to your mind? It is that. Yes, it is that. Cyber Station at least has the alliteration going for it. And that sounds like an actual place. Like I can imagine going to the cyber station. Oh, I really should fucking script these, shouldn't I? In the same way, I can imagine going to the chemical plant. It sounds like a name, the title of a location, in a way that Press Factory and Golden Capital just don't. And then the level gimmicks themselves, because although the gameplay that's just classic Sonic running and jumping and platforming is fine, stuff that's really helped these levels stick out and be memorable in the past is the level-to-level gimmicks, the things that, Sky Sanctuary has those little beam things that shoot you up. And Seed, Mania Stardust Speedway has the time travel, and the little vines that they grow up, and, you know, you hit the thing and the vines go up and make new platforms. That's a thing, that's a level gimmick, it helps make it memorable. Wow, game design. But then in this game, I couldn't fucking tell you, like, almost any of the gimmicks, except the ones they fucking reused from other games. Like, the fucking Goo Lagoon. It's not Goo Lagoon, is it? That's SpongeBob. It's, Lagoon City. That just reuses the fucking Hydrosity bubble from Mania. It's like, make a fucking unique gimmick. Do you think that's gonna make it more memorable if I see the main gimmick of the level and think, oh, it's like the other one I played? Do you think that's gonna make me remember your level more? No, I'm just gonna be thinking about the other one that had the tighter level design. Especially when you could have used the Water Chaos Emerald power, because that one fucking 9 times out of 10 is only used for scaling up waterfalls, whereas in Goo Lagoon, yes, I'm gonna keep calling it that, it has actual use under the water. You can move it around kind of like a drill wisp. So instead of making it a borderline pointless emerald power, make it the fucking gimmick of Lagoon City. I called it the correct thing, wow. You know, make it so you hit a little button and you transform into this little bubbly water dude, and that's the gimmick of Lagoon City. That would be so much more memorable. Even Cyber Station, which is the best level in the game, fucking reuses the TV teleportation thing from Studiopolis. It's just here, and it's like, why? Because you have the unique gimmicks in the jellyfish and the rockets and the little mouse, which I like the little mouse model, that's cute. But it's like, you have this stuff, you have some unique gimmicks already. Why did you need to steal Studiopolis's? Why? It's insane how this is the most safe Sonic has ever felt, I think. Cause Lost World, even, that was riffing on Mario stuff. This feels Sonic, but it feels so standardized, bland, boring, safe Sonic. Man, this has no character to it. I've written this quote in my notes, and I think it sums it up perfectly. Despite being entirely comprised of technically new locations, this somehow feels more repetitive and derivative of the past than Mania. And yeah, I wholly stand by that. Mania, even in Mania's reused zones, it feels more new and unique than Superstars' new zones, and that is a fucking problem. I almost got the feeling that it's, like, scared to try anything new. It's just playing it very safe, which is extra weird, because once in a blue moon, or purple moon, something will just pop up out of fucking nowhere that actually feels pretty different and new and cool and unique, and is like, I actually felt something experiencing these moments, because they were cool and new. Lagoon City, although it had the boring gimmick, the first act where it's kind of like a beach, that's something. Pinball Carnival becoming like a fucking spooky, haunted attraction in Act 2, that's something. The snake from the animation that's in Sand Sanctuary, that's something. And my favourite one, Egg Fortress Act 2, that reversed you through the level. That's really cool. It got really fucking annoying when I had to replay it loads, but that's a cool gimmick that I don't think we've seen in Sonic before. More of that, please. And Cyber Station in its entirety. Yeah, it's going for just the, so retro thing, but it's got a style of its own, the purple sky, the scan lines with the holograms and blocks in the background and stuff. Speaking of blocks, the pixel 3D look that everyone gets when they go through those little transformation station things. I didn't give Cyber Station nearly enough credit when I saw it in the trailers. I just kind of saw it and thought, oh, that's the So Retro world. And it is. But fuck me, that's a better style than what you've got in the main game. I would have preferred an entire game of the So Retro look. It's refined, it's got an atmosphere, it's got music that fits, and probably just because they're a bunch of blocks, they can get away with this. The models look fucking better. It's not like the best classic Sonic zone ever or anything, and if this was in a Mania tier game of creativity, this would probably be one of the weaker ones, but as it stands in Superstars, this was my favourite one. I felt something here. I was like, oh, this is Sonic, this is cool, I vibe with this, and then it had only one fucking act and never showed up again, and I think that was the last time I had fun with the game. Yeah. I mentioned Lost World back there, and my friend Wet Waluigi, which is a fucking incredible name now that I say that out loud. On his Tumblr page, which I'll link in the description, he points out a bunch of similarities between this and Lost World, but not in the inspiration sense, but in the lack of inspiration. Like, Lost World is just, let's do the Mario themes and not even really try to Sonicify them. And then Superstars is like, oh, let's go for generic themes in general and not really try to Sonicify them. And he was able to point out loads. Golden Capital and Frozen Factory, but the one where you're in like a carnival setting. Frozen Base and Frozen Factory, that one's very bad. Sand Sanctuary and Desert Ruins, was that it? Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? Sky Temple, Sky Road? Sky Road. Yeah, I don't remember much of Lost World, and that fucking says it all, doesn't it? I only remember this Superstars stuff because I wanted to research to get my points right. I specifically remember discussing this game with him and being unable to recall Sand Sanctuary's name to save my life, so That's not a good mark of quality, is it? And that's my overall summation. That's what I'm thinking of. That's my overall summation of the game as a whole package. It's fine. I keep going back to that word, but it's true. It's a 5 out of 10. It's middling. It's not bad. It's good. It's not bad. It's not good. It's fine. It's fine. Pick it up at a discount. You'll have a bit of fun. You won't remember it, but you won't hate the experience. It's fine. Fun fact, by the way, for anyone who takes interest in how long these things can sometimes take to put together, I'm recording this the day after I saw Five Nights at Freddy's, which I have a thread about my initial impressions on Twitter, so you can put together a time frame for yourself there. Yeah. So, some other just generally interesting things to note. A lot of people have said that Superstars feels heavier, and I didn't say it yet, but I agree. It feels a lot heavier. It feels like Sonic takes longer, or the characters I just played as Sonic, take longer to start up with your, your speed when you start walking, and it feels like the jumps have more, like, weight and you get brought back down to the ground quicker, and things like that. People think they feel heavier. The funny thing about that is that no, they don't. They are, apart from a couple jump bounce heights, they are borderline 1-to-1 with the classics, which fucking validates my points about the 3D models quite nicely. I feel very validated right now. Because if these are the same, but one feels significantly heavier, and that just so happens to be the one that's made of solids instead of flats, yeah, fuck the visual direction. It's should have been hand drawn. Should have been hand drawn. Also, yeah, they use the fucking Mania level complete music. There is no, the little da 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 da. Yeah, there's no Superstars specific level complete music here. They just fucking dragged the MP3 file of Mania's, and I forget what it was, but T-Lopes posted a while back that Mania's was going to be more unique originally, then fucking Sega said make it more like Sonic 3's, oh, they don't fucking understand nostalgia. But that's besides the point. There's no Superstars specific level complete music here. They use the fucking Mania one. And worse, they use a fucking wisp sound effect. The fucking wisp capsule sound effect when you do the little roulette wheel animal capsule thing and you get a fruit. And why are you using the fucking wisp sound effect, man? At least use something from the classics. I did actually hear both of these in the preview footage, and I considered putting it in my video, and I'm kicking myself now that I didn't. But that preview footage was of Speed Jungle, and it used Sonic 4 music, which obviously Speed Jungle doesn't have. So I, pretty naturally, I think, assumed that the sound effects and the level complete music and stuff were also temporary placeholder things. Guess I was fucking wrong there, huh? Another thing was the badniks. I noted their inconsistency in design in my video. They somehow get even more inconsistent in the game. Sometimes this game has great new badniks. I showed some of them in the video because they were in the preview footage. Yeah, those pig rockets that get you on the rails, the little frog thing that tries to grab you with your tongue, with its tongue even. And there's a couple others throughout that I'm forgetting, but I know I enjoyed them and thought they were good. Sometimes there's some great new, zone-specific badniks like that. Like there used to be in the classics, and they're good new additions here. The other half of the time, they are spamming crab meats and Zubats, and I know they're not called Zubats, I can't remember the name, and I know of the Pokemon Zubat. They're spamming these crab meats and Zubats everywhere. Like, they were fine on Bridge Island, because that's the first level, but then they're in, like, Cyber Station, and I think they're even in the end level. I could be wrong. They're in one of the last few levels. And it's just like, what's with the crab meats and the Zubats? I don't think the Moto bugs are in here once. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the Moto Bug is like the most iconic badnik. What's with the crab meats and Zubats? Why didn't the Moto Bug get any love? I would have liked to have seen it. I like the Moto Bug. And sometimes the new badniks are just kind of stupid, like the fucking grape robot. That doesn't really keep in line with the insect and creature theming that we used to have for the badniks. It's a bundle of fucking grapes that's evil. Or that like elephant vacuum one. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look threatening at all. These things usually have like spikes and sharp edges and stuff to tell you, oh, watch out, they're dangerous. Here you just got like a little elephant vacuum thing with its soft little trunk. It's like, I'm not scared of that thing. Not that I'm ever scared of badniks, but you know what I mean. I don't feel like that's a threat. Also, yeah, the visuals. As you know, not too fond of the direction here, and that only got worse as the actual game went by. I stand by it doesn't look like objectively bad or anything. If you don't particularly care about how a game looks, it looks fine. It's got some nice moments visually. But I've seen a lot of comparisons to a 3DS game, and yeah, not wrong. not wrong. It's that rim lighting. It's that fucking rim lighting. It takes away from this so dramatically. So some levels only have one act, and I have no idea why that is. Usually this would be story relevance. I haven't played Sonic 3 in a literal year, but I think Sky Sanctuary was only one act, and that was like the turning point of the game where Knuckles sides with you and you're chasing after Eggman. You know, there's like, it's a big story moment, so it kind of feels earned that it's just one act. Here though, they're dotted about randomly, and it's not even the ones with story relevance that are just one act. Like, I'd be more accepting of it if like the level where Trip turns good, that's one act. But no, the level where Trip turns good is after that dogshit Fang boss fight in Golden Capital, which has two acts. What? And Amy and Trip become friends in Goo Lagoon, which has 3 acts. But places like Sky Temple and Cyber Station, and there's another one that I'm forgetting. Well, I'm forgetting it, aren't I? They only have 1 act for no fucking reason. They're just more levels on your journey. They could have been 2 acts and nothing would change. And why weren't they? I would have preferred that, at least for Cyber Station. I didn't give a shit about Sky Sanctuary Temple. Oh my god, these names suck. Also, yeah, it's worth noting somewhere here, Sega is being Sega in all those wonderful fuck you ways. You know, this is dependent on you having kept up with pre-release stuff for the game. If you haven't, you can just kind of forget what I'm saying here. But, you know those cel-shaded skins that were a fucking mess of promotional garbage? They were accidentally put up for free on Steam for about 20 minutes before hastily being taken down. And it seems like they're never going to be available again, which is wonderful. That's, classic Sega. Love you. Another one that's significantly worse, they forced you to download the Epic fucking Games launcher if you're on Steam. You could not play this game through Steam. I think that's been gotten rid of now, but at launch you could not play this game through Steam. The Steam thing you downloaded simply redirected you through the Epic Games Store where you actually played the game. That's amazingly incompetent. And Denuvo, of course it's Denuvo. I don't know the ins and outs of Denuvo because I mostly play on consoles, but I've heard everyone in this community talk about Denuvo. It's anti-cheat that gets cracked in a few days anyway and makes the game run worse and fucking makes your computer die quicker, apparently, from what I've heard. It's shit, and everyone keeps telling them, please stop putting Denuvo in your game. Denuvo. But they never listen, and in this case, they might have gotten real fucking sneaky about it. I haven't checked in on it. I heard it's been not debunked, but called into question. But there was this idea going around that, because Denuvo wasn't listed on the Steam page, which is weird because the game has Denuvo. And so the theory that people were coming up with, because it sounds really fucking Sega to do, was that they submitted an early version of the game that didn't have Denuvo for Steam to review and create the page for, and then the actual version was a later version that had Denuvo, so that Denuvo wouldn't get listed and they could try and silently sneak that onto people's systems, which could very well be illegal. It sounds illegal. Again, I'm not 100% sure if that's the case. I don't think anyone is, so I can't say for certain. Maybe Sega's innocent here. But fuck them. It sounds like a them sort of thing to do. I don't like Sega, man. Oh yeah, speaking of this company's wonderful incompetence, yeah, you know how they've very recently, like, said, oh, we're gonna make the law all come together and stuff. We're gonna take these games that were never intended to string together as one continuous, like, narrative and story, and try and pretend that there's a way we can make them string together as one narrative and story without making it look really dreadful and bad. Yeah, you know how that's been an effort going on? Of course, there's already a fucking law discrepancy, there's already an inconsistency, there's already something that's popped up, and it's with the newer stuff. It's not even with the bullshit they're trying to spin about, oh, here's the little details that weren't mentioned in those older games that make them all work together as a story that we're making up now because they weren't ever intended to have those. It's the newer stuff. So, Frontiers, spoilers, I guess, but the game's been out for a year, so, you know the big moon, the evil big moon that's bad and you kill it and it's quite underwhelming as a character? Yeah, the whole fucking idea that is cemented into you throughout the game, the evil that Sonic is releasing. The moon was in cyberspace. It was stuck in cyberspace, right? That was a pretty established fact in Frontiers. What do you see in the background multiple fucking times in Superstars? Which, if we're doing all this timeline shit, happened fucking years ago when the end was still trapped in cyberspace. Fucking Christ, man. Also, side note, I need to say this somewhere because I don't know where else it would fit in a video. I hate that they've made it one timeline now. Because people complained that that Mania retconned classic Sonic to be from another dimension, and I understand being annoyed at the retcon, because, hey, you established classic Sonic was from the past, now you're making him from another dimension, you know, make up your minds. But it makes more sense for him to be from another dimension. At least now. Like, Generations could get away with it, because there had been no more classic Sonic games since Sonic went 3D, so conceivably it could have all been one timeline experience. But since then, we've had Mania, and we've had Superstars, where new things have happened to classic Sonic that he doesn't remember as modern Sonic. Trip is suddenly gonna show up in the comics, or in a Tails tube, or in a fucking game, and they're gonna pretend like, oh, Trip, she was always there, but where was she in Sonic 06? Where was she when the planet was destroyed in Unleashed? It's because she didn't fucking exist yet. She was not a concept in anyone's minds. So make classic Sonic another dimension where this is their first time meeting Trip, and it makes a lot more sense than the bullshit timeline they're trying to string together now. Just make it so in the modern timeline, the general events of the classic games happened. Like when Knuckles has that flashback in Frontiers to his temple place. Like, yeah, the general events of Sonic 3 happened. We don't need to come up with whole new backstories or anything. Just don't make it so actual Sonic 3 happened, because then, you know, the classic timeline has to be part of this, and that gets real fucking weird once we start making more classic Sonic games and modern ones side by side. And also, this little fucking Santiago rat here, yeah, his mere existence as being a past version of Sonic fucks it up so badly. Why is modern Sonic at all worried during Forces? Let me ask you that. Why is he at all invested in this battle? Because he should have come here from the past, or you know, when he was a kid, I guess, in the past, seen his older self fighting and winning the war, and then going home and everything being fine. He had that experience when he was younger classic Sonic. So why now as modern Sonic does he even give a shit about the fight? Because he saw with his own eyes in the past that it's won. That it gets won, everything gets resolved. And it's stuff like that that makes me kind of wish they kept them split as dimensions. But right now they're trying to appeal to the Dark Age audience, because they milked the classic audience with the past 10 years. I suppose we're still in the adventure audience a bit, because, you know, If it's like adventure, it's good, right? If it's like adventure, it's good. I'm clapping because they put multiple playable characters in Sonic Frontiers, and that's like adventure. That's good. That's good. Yes, yes. It's like the game I played as a child, so I have no nostalgic bias to it. I can analyze these things perfectly fine. Do you know? Can you tell I have some gripes with the community? Wow. Wow. Anyway, yes, lore discrepancy. With the new stuff, not even with the shit they're trying to string a new narrative through in the past, the new stuff that they've created in this era when, oh, we gotta make sure the lore's all consistent. They've managed to fuck that up. That's like, that's kind of funny more than anything. It's quite sad as well. I don't know, oh, Christ. Anyway, I've been quite negative so far. The game inspires negativity in me because I paid 60 quid for it. But I do have some positives. That would be a nice change of pace, wouldn't it? Wow, I can be positive, I know, right? The special stages, not the special stages, the ones where you chase the emeralds, they're cool in concept, and I do kinda like them, but they're kinda janky, and they're very samey. Like, what you're doing at the start is the same as what you're doing at the end. Like, to compare to Mania, in Mania, the special stages, you were constantly getting faster. That was the whole point. You were chasing the emeralds, you were increasing your speed, but as you got faster, you had to like keep approaching the level in different ways because of your increased speed. There were now like shortcuts and paths that you couldn't take, so you had to make new ones, and like the experience was constantly evolving throughout those special stages. They were consistently engaging because they kept sort of mixing themselves up. Here, these ones are, you're just swinging after the emeralds. They add a couple things in there, but it's not enough to really make it feel like it's evolving. It's fine. It's a cool concept. I just think a bit more could have been done with it. Also, they lead to a very lackluster reward. I know I just mentioned positives. Just let me say this a sec. Fucking hell, the emerald powers are so nothingy. So nothingy. Inconsequential, that's what I've got written here. They're very inconsequential. My video fearmongered that they'd all be boiled down to a skip button, and they can be used like that. You can not have to play bosses with some of these, but man, I was being generous when I said they'd all be used as a skip button. They don't even get fucking used at all. 9 out of 10 times, I, as well as everyone else, just forgets they exist and play this as though they weren't in the game, which is arguably worse. Anyway, yes, positives, and the bonus stage is what I was thinking of. Not the special stages, because it's based off of the Sonic 1 special stages, but now it's the bonus stage, which is just a little bit confusing and dumb. Anyway, those are pretty fun. I don't know exactly what they've tweaked to the physics or the turning speed, or they've made a lot of little tweaks to how those Sonic 1 special stages play. But whatever they've done, it's for the better, because this is the most I've ever enjoyed that kind of special stage. I had a lot of fun here. Whenever I hit a checkpoint with the right amount of rings and the little portal popped up, I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go in there. Although I'm just getting medals, which I don't care about because they're only used in the battle mode, which I don't care about. The moment-to-moment gameplay of getting to those medals was fun enough for me, I thought. I quite liked it. Yeah, it was a solid bonus stage. Hell of a lot better than Blue Spheres in Mania. That's like the one thing Superstars does objectively better than Mania. Blue Spheres got very fucking repetitive very quickly in Mania. I like Blue Spheres, but it hurt Mania that was the only bonus stage. Whereas here, these feel more fun and different, and it improves Superstars that they are the only bonus stage. So yeah, I can say this game is better than Mania in one minute aspect. Also, you get a little Nights into Dreams skin in the battle mode if you collect every ring during one of these bonus stages. I haven't done it yet, but hopefully you're seeing it on screen because I'll record the gameplay of me doing it, and that's cool. That's cool. The Nights robot thing looks cool. Yeah, looks cool. Anyway, the best aspect of the game is next in my notes, and that is Trip. I love her. She's awesome. She's so cute and fun, and she fits in pretty well as a Sonic character. I do have several issues with her because it's me, but I'm getting the initial love for her out of the way, so that you know I like her, because I do. I've liked her since the start. She's fun. she's cool. I like her. She's cute. Yeah. That said, her design feels a little bit too busy in both of her designs. Look at how simple characters like Sonic and Knuckles are when you really boil down the details. They're just one solid color with a lot of accenting bits. And then you have Trip, who she's much closer to that in her armored design, but the armor's a bit too detailed. It's got a bit too many a bit too many things going on, a bit too much shapes. That's what I'm trying to say. And then in her non-armored look, there's just a few too many colors that are like fighting for dominance on the design. A bit too busy. That's a bit too busy. Could use a little toning down, and you've got a really good design. That said, these two designs, her armored and non-armored, don't even feel like the same character to me. Yeah, they didn't do the best job at making armored Trip look like that design, but armored. Not helped by like the character arc they're attempting to go for, because the idea is that, you know, Trip is all shy and scared, and then through Sonic and Co.'s sort of friendship and help, she gains a bit of confidence and then does her own story. But that's not communicated the best, and the shyness and timidity, if that's a word, were unique factors for her, I thought, and would have preferred they stick around. And I kind of think we're losing something if that's taken away. And more to the point, the non-armored design, I don't get any semblance of shy and timid when I see that. I just see like, oh, that's another go-get-em girl character. Yeah, so could have done a bit more to make them feel like the same person. Yeah. Also, her super form is cringe. I laughed at the super form, but not in any kind of way the game might have wanted. It has some maybe very fucking worrying implications for the Chaos Emeralds, as in like really discarding what those things can do in favor of just, oh, let's make her a dragon to make her stand out, I assume, and to make her different. Also, it means we won't ever get a normal looking like Super Trip, which I would have preferred. And yeah, it just kind of looks like a fucking mobile game dragon, and it's just kind of cringy. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. That's all I can say really with that. Same thing with the secret final boss. It's just a dragon. It's just a big fucking dragon, and I don't think dragons really fit in Sonic. Because Sonic has magic elements. That's always been an aspect of this franchise. Like Amy's cards, the Power Stones in SatAM. The Chaos Emeralds used to be a prime example, but now they are alien technology, so whoopsie fucking daisy. But having dragons in there, just kind of, they're a very inherently magical kind of creature, and so making them an actual thing in this universe kind of puts magic at the forefront when that was always a very underlying aspect, kind of tucked away in the world of Sonic. And I don't like how it kind of throws off that balance. Yeah. Never liked it. I didn't like Dulcie in SatAM for the same reasons. It's just, I don't know, maybe that's more of a me thing, but that's something I've picked up on with Sonic's world, and I think making Trip and the final boss like overt dragons kind of takes away from that. The only times I've enjoyed dragon imagery in Sonic is Unleashed's Dragon Road, because that's based off of like real world Chinese culture in Chunan. That's cool. That's cultural representation. That's nice. And when Eggman builds a robot based off of a dragon, that's cool because dragon robots look cool, and it sort of works better if there is this idea that that dragons and magic and that sort of stuff are like underlying elements. Having Eggman try to replicate that in a machine that's like inherently soulless and stuff, that adds a bit of texture to that underlying narrative, I think. Because there's the Egg Viper, which kind of looks like a dragon, but it's not really. There's the thing he made in 06, I forget its name, but that was kind of dragon-like, if I recall. There's the Egg Dragoon, I suppose, but that's not really a dragon, and trust me, I would know. I'm the biggest fan of that boss fight. Anyway, the point is, I don't like Trip's super design, or the dragons in general being overtly in Sonic. That, yeah, Bleh. Also, Fang's here, and Fang sure is here. Genuinely not a clue what the point of him was here. It was already weird that they only brought him in and not Bean and Bark, because it would have been at least a bit cooler to get the entirety of Team Hooligan with brand new 3D models, but they chose not to, and instead only, chose Fang. But then, even then, they don't fucking do anything with him. I thought, okay, maybe they sacrificed Bean and Bark so that they can really characterize Fang and give him a lot of cool gadgets and level gimmicks. He's in like 3 boss fights and then fucks off forever, and could have genuinely just been an Eggman robot, could have been a fucking hard-boiled heavy and nothing would change. And what was the point? What was the point? I know what the point was. I said it in my video. It's key dangling nostalgia shit. That's what it was. That's what the fucking point was, wasn't it? The Lego skins. Also, I would be very remiss if I didn't mention the Lego skins, which are dreadful and, like, terrible, which makes them amazing and hilarious. Because, like, they undercut fucking any sense of, like, self-respect the game might have had, because they're these stupidly stiff little Lego things. Like, some of these animations, man, Knuckles glide, some of their falling ones. Amy's fucking look down is the hardest I've laughed in quite a long time. They're fucking terrible because they stick so strongly to the limitations of Lego movement, but that makes them perfect and amazing and fucking funny as shit. Also, yeah, the way in the special stages, they just kind of fucking spin in the air. It's, oh my god, it's great, it's great, it's great. Weird that there's no Lego Super Sonic though, because when you turn Super with Lego Sonic, you just turn into normal Super Sonic. And that's weird because they have a Lego Super Sonic model. It was in Lego Dimensions, so I don't know why they didn't put that in. I mean, no, I do know why, because everyone got, like, a very slight redesign from how they looked in LEGO Dimensions to how they look now in the more, like, official partnership branding stuff. And I guess because they haven't done a Super Sonic yet in the sort of official new LEGO Sonic brand, which I'm sure they'll get to. They'd be kind of stupid not to make some, I don't know, Perfect Chaos or Giganto Super Sonic fight. Anyway, point is, we don't have a official partnership LEGO Super Sonic yet, so it wasn't in Superstars, I guess, which is a shame, but alright. Also, when LEGO Sonic looks upwards, it looks like he's thrusting, and you know me, of course I would notice that and find it worth mentioning to point out. I kind of like that. Also, speaking of other skins, the rabbit one was probably one of my favourite aspects of the game. It's actually really nice. I thought it would just be a skin swap for Sonic. That fucking drawing someone did of the ears not even being fucking rigged, I thought I could totally see that. But no, they give him his own animations. He even gets a little pixel-like form in Cyberstation, which not even the LEGO skins get that. A lot of care was put into making the rabbit feel borderline like another character, except, you know, obviously he's a skin for Sonic, but there's a lot of care put in. I'm gonna paraphrase B-Mask's Crash video, Crash Insane, where he's talking about Coco. He says Coco has enough love and care put into her animations to make her feel like so much more than just a skin swap. That's the rabbit. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's just called fucking rabbit. It's just called fucking rabbit. But yeah, he was given a lot of care and love, and I really appreciated that. I really enjoyed playing as him just because you can feel they went that extra mile with him. They put in that extra 10%. Yeah, it's just nice. The rabbit was way better than I expected. Yeah, that was cool. No super form though, he just kind of glows. I would have liked to have seen what a super rabbit looks like, but everyone except for Sonic just kind of glows, because we're never getting Hyper Knuckles again for some fucking reason, and Super Amy is not allowed to exist, I guess. Oh, isn't Sonic fun? Also, the fucking Tails doll shows up. That was cool. I didn't come across him personally, but I saw the clip on Twitter. That's cool. You got a nice little HD Tails doll model. I imagine some animators are gonna get some mileage out of that. And he's just fucking floating out there randomly. I like stuff like that. It's very reminiscent of Big being in the background somewhere in every level of SA2. It's just little fun, goofy shit like that, where it's like you can tell there's that Mania-esque love for the franchise just sort of permeating through with things like that. Yeah, that's cool. That's a nice little detail. Music now, however, which takes us a bit back into the negatives, unfortunately. The music was, again, the worst outcome in my predictions, where it's fine. It's not bad. Some of it's kind of bad, but you know, it's not bad music. But a lot of this is not peak Sonic, let's put it that way. I've written here that a good chunk of this game's OST has entirely blurred together in my mind. I couldn't hum you almost any of it. Yeah, that sums that up. There's a couple of them that like kind of have something going on. Speed Jungle Act 2, that's got a tune to it. Sky Temple kind of has something. Pinball Carnival, I still love the opening of that. But then it just kind of devolves into a poor man's Studiopolis. And Act 2 is a decent bop. Act 2 is pretty good. They capture the spooky carnival like idea pretty well. Cyber Station's track ain't my favourite, but it fits the level well. It's not bad. The normal final boss, the big I can't believe it's not Death Egg, it does the job. But other than that, there's one other that I mention in a bit, but other than that, it's like, I'm not going to remember any of it. It's not bad enough to remember, and it's not good enough to stick in my head and be on all my playlists. Yeah. And even then, the ones I just listed as some of my favourites, the most fucking glowing praise I could give them was like, fine, and gets the job done, and you know, not very high praise. Like, I just think back to Mania, when I first played Mania. When I got to Metallic Madness, I had to stop. I was floored by the music, because it was so fresh and new, but good and catchy and cool and Sonic. It was very Sonic. And there was nothing like that here. The closest I got was Lagoon City Act 2. I do quite like that one. That's the one I didn't mention just now. That's my favourite of the OST, without a doubt. Gives me some strong OVA vibes. But overall, I've written here the overall soundtrack is shockingly middling. And yeah, I think that's a very good encapsulating phrase. Everyone's shitting on Jun Senue, I've heard most people say it as. Everyone's shitting on his borderline fetish for that Genesis twang sound. And yeah, those songs are some of the worst of the soundtrack, but even some of the things that I'm seeing a lot of people like praise and say are really good ones, I don't know, I thought they were the most standardized, like, boring, normal, classic Sonic shit that I'm never gonna remember stuff. Speed Jungle Act 1, I like Act 2, but Act 1 is like, Sand Sanctuary, Bridge Island, I fucking hate. Honestly, something about Bridge Island, it has a Green Hill-ism to its tune that something about that really gets under my skin and fucking angers me. I genuinely hate Bridge Island. Yeah, can't quite put my finger on it, but something about that track makes me quite angry. Also, some of these just kind of don't feel very Sonic-y to me, I don't think. The boss theme that you get, because you get the boss theme with the non-Eggman robots in Act 1, and then you get the Eggman boss theme in Act 2, and then in the latter half of the game, you get a different Eggman boss theme, and that one feels like it's from an entirely different franchise. Like, I don't know what franchise, but just distinctly sounds not Sonic to me. And really weirdly, a couple of these sound like they are from fucking Super Lucky's Tale, of all things. And if you haven't played that, which you most likely haven't, because it's pretty niche, you should play that. It's a very cute, charming little game. It's very easy. It's very obviously, like, designed with kids in mind, but its charm carries it. It's got a lot of cuteness, a lot of fun. It's just a relaxing, nice little game. I'd recommend Lucky's Tale. Some decent music in there too. And it kind of looks like Sonic, right? I mean, look at Lucky. You could say he's Tails' distant cousin or something. I don't know, play Lucky's Tale. It's a good game. Obviously, music's quite subjective, so I'm not making any too like definitive of a statement here. It's one of the, I think it is the most subjective medium on the planet. How do you even grade music? It's so based on taste. So if you enjoyed some of the songs I didn't, fucking more power to you. For me, a lot of this wasn't it. Compounded on when we just had Frontiers, which I actually really like the soundtrack of, even though I don't think a lot of it sounds like Sonic. Personally, I fucking love that soundtrack, for reasons I promise I will get into in that video. Oh my god. Yeah, and there were some like fucking bangers in there that everyone agrees is good, like Undefeatable shoots to mind. Like, a year ago we had Undefeatable, which has cemented itself as an icon of Sonic sound already, and then a year later Superstars comes out with all its crushing mediocrity. I don't know if I've been playing clips already to illustrate some of my points further. If I have, cool, that's continuing. If I haven't, I'm gonna do that now, because this, I think, is a perfect example of the difference in sound music quality between this game and Mania. Although I called it fine, because it's alright, as I can kind of get into it, this is the Superstars final boss music. And as I said, it's fine, it gets the job done, it sells you on the kind of vibe that's going on here enough. But now I'm going to play you Manias, and unless you have no taste, that's a joke, you are going to immediately see the difference and get what I mean. It is worth mentioning though, I actually kind of enjoy one or two of the battle mode tracks. Not because they're good, I don't think they're good or fit Sonic or anything like that. They're shit, don't get me wrong, they're shit. However, I recall playing Bomberman R a fair bit when I first got my Switch. I stupidly chose that over Breath of the Wild because I was a very intelligent 13-year-old. But yeah, I quite like the music, at least that I heard, of Bomberman R. I only ever made it to the second world. And there's this one song in the battle modes of Sonic Superstars that is very reminiscent of the Bomberman R tracks that I like, so I like it. I'm quite a simple creature to please, honestly. I make all these critical videos and stuff. I'm rather simple to please in every other aspect of life. I also kinda like the Act 1 boss themes, the non-Eggman robot ones, the I like that bit at least, because then it kind of devolves into something lesser. And the exact same situation with the special stage theme, you know, the that bit, I like that bit of the special stage theme, but I don't like what it then becomes. So yeah, those two are in a weird situation where, like, if you just play the first, I don't know, 10 seconds of them, I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun, I'm having a good time. If you play them in their entirety, they become like the rest of Sonic Superstars soundtrack. That's a very me thing, but hey, we're all different and weird, and I think that's pretty cool. The Act 2, the early half of the game, Act 2 Eggman boss theme, the one that, like, everyone's sort of mocked because it sounds shit, I want to mock because it sounds shit. As a very disappointing moment, quite the letdown. Yeah. Again, compare that to Mania and Danger on the Dance Floor, and man, it's not even a competition, is it? Speaking of those Eggman bosses, what the fuck happened to the bosses in these games? Classic Sonic bosses were fine. The very definition of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It wasn't broke, but they fixed it. Usually, if you're skilled enough, you can kind of dodge it, because most classic Sonic bosses technically function on the wait for insert thing to do its attack, and then you can hit it. But usually there were lots of ways around that, either through skill or through like abusing invincibility frames. You know, there were ways to speed up the fight and stuff. Much like classic Sonic itself, it rewarded you learning how it goes and knowing what to exploit and stuff. Here though, and I really don't know my stuff when it comes to this, so I might be totally off the mark of what's actually changed here, but I swear the boss has a lot more invincibility now. You can't like spam hits on it. You can kind of really only hit it once per phase, whenever you choose in that. And speaking of, the phases where you're waiting for the boss to do its attack so that you can then hit it, feel like they last a lot longer now. I don't know if they actually do, but they feel like they last way longer, which drags these fights out and makes them quite annoying, and makes them even more of the worst bit of every classic Sonic level. It's almost kinda like how Mario bosses are designed, because you can't ever... I mean, you can kind of, but generally you can't really skip around the bosses attacking you phase of a Mario fight. You kind of have to dodge their attacks and then they leave themselves open. And the thing about that is, Mario fights only usually last 3 rounds, whereas classic Sonic, especially the Eggman ones, are like 8 hits. So it fucking drags on, because I do kind of recall enjoying the boss fights in Superstars and thinking that had it ended at 3 hits, I would have thought more positively about them, but instead they just kind of keep fucking going, and it's... Yeah, I don't know what happened here. It's quite disappointing and annoying and saddening. Combine that with the general frustration I'm feeling through the levels and their fucking nothingness. Like, I'm not enjoying going through the level, I'm just going through it to complete the game. So I'm already not having fun, so when these long, boring, annoying boss fights show up, I fucking hate them and I'm not having a good time. I've described it here as they are like the cherry on top of a cake if the cherry tasted of battery acid, which, not sure what compelled me to write that, but not untrue, not wrong. This is my long-winded way of saying I didn't fucking finish the game. I got to the not death egg and was just not having fun there, and I thought, fuck it, man, I don't want to play this, and I'm not gonna put I'm not gonna put myself through a game that I'm not enjoying just for the sake of making some fucking YouTube content out of it. I'm gonna play Crash Team Rumble. That's a fun game. I know most people write that off because they haven't fucking played it. Oh my god, Crash Team Rumble is so much better than Superstars. That's gonna get me some hate, but that's the truth. Yes, I wasn't having fun with the game, and that was the final boss. I can say I got up to the final boss. Sure, I didn't beat it, but, you know, I've basically done the game then, if I'm up to the final boss and have gotten a fair ways through it. It's like, sure, I haven't beaten it, but I've experienced enough of the game, I think. But yeah, I'm not having fun. Why am I gonna play more just to make a longer video? You're not gonna feel my passion coming through in the video. You're just gonna hear me complaining more, which even I get tired of. So yes, that does mean I haven't tried out Trip's story, but I've got a friend, that Wet Waluigi friend that I mentioned prior. He's been filling me in on what generally happens in Trip's story and what it plays like and whatnot, and it doesn't sound like I'm missing much. If I'm not liking the game now, I really doubt I'm going to enjoy a harder version of it with a character who turns into a fucking dragon. Plus, I got spoiled on Trip being playable. It's not like it was some shock to me. I got spoiled on that. Before the game was even out, not only were people, like, I don't know what exactly they did. I think it was like jailbreaking the Switch or something, but people got access to the game early and were playing it and were uploading like trip gameplay and stuff. But more than that, some fucking cunt who edited the IGN video just casually threw in a clip of Trip fighting Fang, I think. That's in the fucking IGN review, and they didn't give a spoiler warning or anything. That's just as they're recapping their points. I saw Trip down there at the bottom, and I was like, oh, that's what she looks like, and that's her playable. Okay, cool. I didn't want that saved for the game. Thanks, IGN. Also, yeah, that does mean I haven't actually fought the big evil dragon at the end, but that seems to be something that even the people who like Superstars are complaining about, so I'm in no rush to try it out, let's say that. Apparently it's got no build-up either, it just kind of comes out of nowhere. Not surprising, but not good either. Oh yeah, also battle mode exists, and I tried that out, and remember in my video how I said you could probably get like an extra 2 hours maybe out of battle mode? Oh boy, I was being fucking generous there, huh? I played 5 minutes of this and never fucking want to touch it again. It's not bad, but holy shit, if I put 2 straight hours into this, I'd kill myself. Apparently the servers are all but dead already too, which, yeah, I think that's justified. That is not a core gameplay loop that's going to keep me coming back for more. Crash Team Rumble, is that? I got that in the video. Play Crash Team Rumble! It doesn't help that the customization things, specifically with the color, once you use a color once, you have to buy the color again, which is a cuntish move. Fuck you, Sega. Yeah, the customization's a bit too pricey. It's just, the entirety of battle mode is so not worth it. I'm gonna play it once more to get footage for this video, and then not only am I never going to touch the battle mode again, I am likely never going to touch this game again. Anyway, yeah, that is my overall take on Superstars and all the little details in it that I think are worth mentioning, that I have something to say about. I just want to repeat, again, it's not bad. It's not an objectively bad game or anything. There's worse Sonic games objectively than this that are buggier and glitchier and that you will have a worse time with if you're just trying to play. If you want an experience that feels like Sonic, Superstars is content in that regard. It's not great, it's not, you know, it's fine. I keep coming back to that word because it sums the game up so very well. It's fine. It's not good, it's not bad, it's fine. Buy Mania long before you buy this. That's my only stipulation. I will personally hate you if you buy this before you buy Mania. I won't. I don't hate you. But I'm just trying to big up the point that you should support Mania over this. Make Sega see that pixel art is still viable, because Mania didn't sell that well apparently, which is shocking. Because it's like just pixel art, and a lot of people think that's like, oh, old and retro and shitty. When no, Mania looks fucking wonderful. Looks better than this. Anyway, yeah, Superstars is fine. If you get it for if it goes on sale for like 10 quid or something, fucking go for it. Maybe 20, maybe 30, but no more than that. No more than that. Yeah, you're gonna have an alright time. It's just probably not gonna stick in your memory much. I've got one video lined up next that's sort of gonna mention Superstars and is kind of sparked by what's in Superstars. I won't say any more about that because I like keeping these things a surprise. But so Superstars will be a component of that video, and I'll play it again to like take notes and you know, check details and record gameplay and whatnot. But after that, I don't think I'm gonna be playing Superstars. I don't think I'm gonna be thinking about Superstars at all for the foreseeable future. And that's arguably worse than like it being bad. Sonic 06, I think about loads. Sonic Boom sticks in everyone's memories. The movies are dog shit, but at least I can take joy in articulating why they're dog shit and why I hate them with a burning passion. Superstars is that perfect middle road where it's competent and Sonic enough, but it's not, it doesn't push that any further. It's not special Sonic. It's safe, bland, boring, contractually obligated Sonic. And that's quite a shame, I think. Anyway, yeah, as I mentioned there, I've got a video planned that's gonna center around something Sonic-y, kinda. And the rest of this year, that's kind of all I plan to get to. There's that video, you know, if you're following me closely, you know, that video. Still tinkering, I meant. Jesus Christ. I'm not fucking tinkling away at it. I'm tinkering away at that video. And I've got a fun one based around another Sonic game of fairly recent memory that should kind of close out the year and should be fairly positive as well. And my next video is based on, as I said, something kind of... It was sparked by Superstars, and you'll probably be able to clock why when that video comes out. I don't have a time frame, because I'm still working on stuff about it with a friend, but yeah, that's coming. Let me know if you enjoyed this, and would like to see more addendum things like this in the future. It's kind of like halfway to a niknatter, which I do intend to eventually get around to making another one of those. I just want to kind of space those out, because I could very easily make those like every month, but I feel it's only worth making those when a ton of little things have come out that I have something to say about. So I'm kind of holding off doing another one of those, but this is kind of halfway to one of them, you know, a bit more unscripted, a bit free-flowing, a bit stuttering on words and saying tinkling instead of tinkering, because I'm not used to this format at all. Let me know if you enjoyed it, or if you prefer when I do scripted stuff. I certainly prefer when I do scripted stuff, but I'm open to making some more of these if people enjoy it. Hopefully it's like been edited enough to be watchable as a video, because it's definitely kind of got podcast energy, but I want to make it visually interesting and visually represent my points. So, also let me know your thoughts on the game if you have played it. If you haven't, please don't rush to buy it to play it. Wait till like get someone to get it for you at Christmas at the latest, or just wait for a discount. But if you were one of the unfortunate bastards who pre-ordered and gave Sega all your money, let me know what you thought of the game, if you have some different opinions, if I maybe highlighted something that you hadn't thought of before, if you have played Trip's story and can give me the juicy details that I missed on there. I don't know, anything you have to say about the game, let me know. I'm more than happy to see differing views. Just don't be a dick about it. I'm probably being hypocritical in asking that, but hey, be better than me, be greater together. Yeah. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this. That's it. I was gonna end with some kind of joke, some kind of funny, as I usually do. You know, I usually have the music cut out and put some little funny meme or say some funny thing, and then you get the which is Skylanders music, by the way. That's in the description of every video, but I don't know if anyone's ever checked. That outro music I use is from Fake Crash's boss battle in Thumpin' Wumpa Islands in Skylanders Imaginators. It's a good track, that's why I use it. But I don't have anything particularly funny to say other than Sega's attempts to make Sonic a big franchise again. That's quite funny. But instead, I thought I'd end the video by highlighting something cool. Because the best thing to come out of this game by a country mile is this like really fucking cool fan-made commercial that's like in a hypothetical world where Superstars existed in 1999, and how they would have advertised that, what the box art would have looked like, what all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. They've got custom artwork that emulates the Greg Martin stuff. They've got custom sprite work. They've got a fucking made-up custom add-on for the Genesis, much like the CD was, and had Sonic CD, because Superstars' big draw is the multiplayer. So they've come up with this like fucking made-up little extension thing that would let you use multiple controllers. It looks real. It totally captures the vibe. It's great. It's stuff like this makes me really love this fandom. It's so creative, so cool. And yeah, I'll leave you on that good note. That commercial's really cool. You should watch it. And the fandom at this point is the best thing in Sonic. We can be pieces of shit sometimes. We can disagree a lot. I'm probably not helping with that, but there's some very creative folk in here. We make some cool collaborative community projects. I like this fandom. Here's a funny I can throw in, because I like this fandom, so I can reference that YouTube Rewind thing where she goes, "I'm so proud of this community." Goodbye.
Sonic Superstars more like Sonic Pooperstars XD 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 XD